Hi, it's Wednesday, and that means it's time for another video edition of Widower Wednesday. I'm Abel Keogh, author of the book Dating a Widower, and today we are going to discuss a good way to honor the late wife, one that can go on for years and years and years and doesn't require a lot of time or effort on the widower's part other than to set it up and get it going. I bring this up because I have many clients who have a widower who wants to honor his late wife. Now, I have done a video on the best way to honor the late wife, and I'll talk about that at the end of that here. I'll reiterate that point on the best way to do it. But I have lots of clients who have widowers who want to honor the late wife, and usually what happens is that before they started dating or getting into a serious relationship, they've kind of set up annual events, for example. So it could be a fundraising dinner, a charity race, things like that, and they're raising money for a good cause, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. So they have a race in the late wife's name or a dinner or something in the late wife's name. But the issue is that the time and effort that it takes to put these events together, it's not just a one night thing, right? There's hours of prep time, setting things up, getting things going, and it's the time and effort that takes that kind of interferes with the new relationship and makes the woman that the widower is dating feeling like he's not ready to move on, and maybe there has to be a better way to do this kind of sort of thing. So anyway, I was talking to a client, and we were discussing something that he was doing to honor his late wife, and I thought it was a great idea. And so I thought I would share that with you for any of my audience here that are looking for ways to honor a late spouse, or really anybody else for that matter. I want something that will keep giving and keep working year after year, but it doesn't require necessarily a lot of time and effort. It'll take some time and effort to maybe set this up, but year after year can help and benefit people, but it doesn't necessarily, require any of the widower's time once it's going. So again, nothing wrong with those charity runs, dinners, whatever, other fundraisers that are going on. But again, other than it takes time, and honestly, as time goes on, people kind of lose interest in that, and other things come up, and they kind of get a little less popular year after year. So I know some of you are wondering, well, what is it, Abel? What's this way? And so I was discussing with the client, and what he did is he is establishing a scholarship in his late wife's name, and it'll be helping. He was actually helped. We were talking. He was actually helped by grants and scholarships to get through school, and so he kind of wanted to do the same thing and give back. And the thing I like about this idea of a scholarship, and I don't think it just has to be like an educational scholarship. I'll talk about that in a sec. But what I like about this educational scholarship that he's trying to set up is that the benefits is that it can benefit somebody year after year after year. You can put the scholarship in the late wife's name, or anybody's name for that matter, and it keeps helping people. But once it's up and established and going, it doesn't require a lot of commitment from the widower. He can move on with his life. He can date. He can do the things that he needs to do. But he also knows that, hey, there's a scholarship and whatever. Every year, for example, someone's going to get $1,000, for example, or whatever, to help them with education or books or things like that. So I want to talk about this, maybe kind of just kind of get some guidelines going, because for some of you who are interested in this, and maybe just kind of plant some seeds for some ideas and give you some resources to get you started. And I think the first thing you need to know, I think a lot of times we think of scholarships or grants, and our mind just we go to a university setting or some kind of educational scholarship, right, where it's like somebody needs help, whether it's financially or maybe they're an outstanding scholar in their field, so there's scholarships set up to help them. One of the things that my client sent me, and this is down in the link below, is that there's lots of community foundations out there where you can establish a scholarship. It doesn't have to necessarily just be for education. So, for example, I went on this community foundation link where you can look up different foundations in your area, and for example, I found one where you can actually have like an annual grant, an annual scholarship, and what it does is it helps people who are uninsured, for example, right, with medical care and medical expenses. So they have these maybe outrageous hospital bills or other medical expenses that they can't quite pay, and they can apply for these grants and these scholarships to actually help people like that. And I kind of thought, oh, that would be cool. I mean, because after Hope died and Krista died, I was left with a pile of medical bills, and I can just remember thinking like, I am never going to get through these bills and things like that, and having some kind of resource. And I was just in my first job out of college. I didn't have a lot of money, so I think having that kind of resource, or knowing that something like that would have been available, would have been awesome. So had I kind of known about that and wanted to honor, say, Hope, for example, my late daughter Hope, I could have put some kind of scholarship together. So whatever, this is the Hope Keogh scholarship, and whatever, pays out so much money to needy recipients who can't pay medical bills, for example. But there's nothing wrong with the educational one. But I think what's important here is when you choose if whatever kind of scholarship or grant you want to set up, is choose who you want to help. Again, it doesn't have to just be students, but there's nothing wrong with that. I think if I was to do one in Krista's memory, I'm not, by the way, but if I was to do one in Krista's memory, she was a writer. She was a first-generation college student. There's some background for you. So so maybe, for example, I would establish a scholarship, the Krista Keogh scholarship, and it would be, maybe for first-generation students who are looking to pursue a literature career, or so maybe something in the liberal arts or something like that, right? So I could set something up like that. Again, something that would kind of resonate and kind of reflect Krista's interests and things like that. But anyway, go to the link in the description, look at the different foundations up there, and and kind of clarify who it is you want to help, and then go ahead and determine what's the selection criteria. Like who would kind of qualify. What are the qualifications for this kind of award or grant or scholarship or whatever it is that that you're doing. But I think it's important. A lot of times when you set these up, they'll even let you pick or award or have an influence in that. I don't suggest going that route. I suggest setting it up in such a way that someone, again, an institution or someone that you trust, if you've laid out the criteria really good, maybe letting someone else do that. And again, the reason I'm suggesting that is, this is a way to honor your late spouse, but it's not in such a way that it's going, every year I've got to go through these applications or anything like that, right? It's a way that you can focus and move forward with your life, but still going out and helping people. Then after you kind of have, who you want to help, and you've determined the selection criteria, I think it's working with these organizations and establishing, a memorial fund. Again, a good way to do it, because if people want to help honor the late wife, this is a great way to do it. They can chip in a little bit of money, knowing that their money, can go and help other people. It's also good, you might be able to get matching donations from corporations or others or things like that. So anyway, I think it's a good idea. Again, I think if it's set up right, where you feel like it's helping people, that maybe that the late spouse would want to help, but at the same time not putting an annual burden on you or the relationship or moving forward. Anyway, I wanted to throw it out there as a good way to honor the late wife without interfering in future relationships or moving forward. Now, I did tease at the beginning, some of you were, I did a video on the best way to honor the late wife, and if you feel like you can't do a scholarship fund or anything like that, that's fine. Again, the best way to honor your late spouse is to live your life. Now, that doesn't always include a relationship, but to live your life and to be happy and to live a happy and fulfilling life. That is honestly the best way you can go out and honor that a late spouse. Don't be mired in grief and stuck in such a way that you're sad and just not doing anything and not living your life. Find a way to go out there, spread joy, help people, do things that would make your late spouse proud. So when they look in on your life, they say, hey, so and so is doing a good job. I hope that I'm living my life in such a way, for example, that Krista can look down. If she does look down once in a while and just say, Abel, I'm glad you're able to move forward with life and you're helping people and doing the things that you need to do. So anyway, that is still the best way to honor the late wife, but do consider the scholarship idea. I have put some links down in the description where you can go in and you can explore some community foundations if you want to. You can even see one of the fundraisers that my clients has put together. So if you want to assist in that, you can do that too. I'm Abel Keogh, author of the book Dating a Widower, and I will see you next Wednesday.